Hello, Nick DeLeon here. On behalf of my partner Scott Hare, I wanted to give you an update on Farmers Branch. Just as an aside, it was a big week for Leon Real Estate Partners. We just hired 2 new analysts as part of the team. They're going to be underwriting deals, helping with asset management. We went out to the property yesterday to get some construction bids. We're going to talk about that. Not construction bids, but kind of scope out some work, maybe additional work on the concrete. And our analysts came out to the property. So very excited about that, the growth of the company and the growth for our analysts. So just to give you an update, we want to thank you for investing in the project. Things have been going really, really well. We're just 2 months in and it's cash flowing lightly with the debt service. So we are considering, if things continue to go well at the property, we're considering sending out a distribution to the investors based on that cash flow. Again, it depends on how the operations continue to operate. We want to make sure that the property can sustain sending out a distribution. We think it can, but we want to make sure. We don't want to make a promise that's definitely going to go out. But if we do push it out, it's going to be at the end of the third quarter or second quarter, which would be in July. We do want to make sure that you have your system and your bank account in place within our portal. So please click into the link in the email and make sure that your bank account is set up. If you're not sure, make sure that it's set up. We'll check that for you and make you and help you work through that. We also are considering making a monthly distribution or a quarterly distribution. Some our investors are used to monthly, some are quarterly, some are indifferent. Again, this is going to be a light distribution. So maybe you can reply to this email and let us know what you think, if you're more in favor of a monthly distribution or a quarterly distribution. We could do either. Doesn't make a difference to us. Some people really like monthly, some people don't care. So if you can reply to this email, let us know. That would be great. So just an update on the sale. So as we noted in our last update, we found out Corey Construction has bought a property in Grand Prairie, which is pretty close to Farmers Branch where our property is. We're still trying to figure out if it's a piece of land or a property, but it's right next to a property that they already own. So they indicated kind of through text and discussions that they will be vacating the property. We want to get like firm confirmation and a timeline on when they're going to be leaving. So we can start marketing the property either for lease for sale, right? And we prefer a sale to an owner user. It's going to yield a higher price. We've made 2 attempts to meet with the main person in the DFW, and they ended up not showing up to the meeting. We wanted to meet them in person, talk about the construction work that we're doing, the concrete work, but really was kind of talk about their official plans for and timing for when they would leave the property. So that's been going slower than expected because we've missed this person 2 times, but we're going to keep pushing. Also, as we mentioned in the last newsletter, we sent out a closing announcement to a handful of brokers, some of the biggest brokers that have done deals in DFW in the warehouse space, to let them know that we closed the deal and then let them know that we're in the market for similar sort of properties. But it's really the first touch point into these brokers to utilize them to help sell the property, right? So Scott has his broker's license. We would act as the seller's broker. They would act as the buyer's broker. So it's the first touch point into that process. And we're having our analyst team compile that information, all those broker emails, into a list so we can send that out to a bigger blast. We sent out to like a small handful. I actually had my sons compile some of those email addresses, which is pretty cool, and I paid them for it. I got them involved in the business. But now we're going to have that finished off by our analyst team. So that's going to continue to go out. If we can't find a buyer around late September, we might engage with a broker directly to list the property and to lease the property. But right now we're exploring the option where we're going to use Scott as our seller's broker to reduce the commission on the deal. We went out to the property yesterday, like I mentioned, with the analysts, and we met with our contract concrete team. This team is also part of a mastermind. They're also looking at construction at projects at Oaks at Jane Lane. So we have a good relationship with them. We have a specific scope, and you can see some of the pictures of like what we're looking to do. There's a crack inside the warehouse, and there's some issues with concrete outside in the outside space. We are considering maybe doing some add-on work, so they're gonna scope that piece out as well. So there's two pieces that we're thinking about potentially adding on, and we're gonna talk to brokers to see if it makes sense to do some of that work. So we're in the process of doing that, and that's scheduled to start June 14th. And we have to phase it in because it's in two different parts of the warehouse, and we don't want to impede their business. So we're going to do the crack in one phase, and then the kind of outside area in another phase. And one last item, we mentioned it before, we were exploring using a vendor we have a relationship with that does food and drink vending machines. We explored that, went down that path. It seemed like it's not a good fit between the tenant and that vending machine company. So we decided to abandon that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Scott, reply to this email, text us, email us. We're an open book. Love to hear your feedback. And again, remember to update your information in the portal. The link is in the email with your bank account information. So if we do distribution, you'll get that distribution. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let us know. Thanks for being an investor.